What is up, lab rats? This month we talk about broomstick madness. Oh my God, what a cool thing we all saw with Lucas Glover. Here's a dude that could not roll it into a swimming pool from 3 feet. And here he is absolutely filling up the hole, making the must-make par saves, making some long birdies. Oh my God, was that fun to watch. I'm also really stoked that with those couple of wins, broomsticks finally getting normalized a little bit. Those of you who are on the fence about trying it because of some stigma attached to it, let it go. It doesn't matter. Getting the ball in the hole is the fun part of golf. Who cares how you do it? And I'm just so excited that everybody got to watch not only the way that he putted over not just those 2 wins, but the 5 weeks prior, but that they got to see his journey. And the journey's crazy. I mean, what a crazy ass stroke he was making on some of those short ones, taking it back a half inch. And now all of a sudden, you know, not only is he just making putts, but the way that they're going in, they're going right in the middle. He's got this confident look about him when he's over the ball. So exciting to see. So as you guys can probably imagine, we got a lot of orders for a lot of broomsticks over those couple of weeks. And I imagine a lot of you who ordered them, it might be your first time with a broomstick. So just wanted to go through a couple of things. Basically 2 sides of the spectrum. We got on one side Bernhard Langer, on the other side Adam Scott. That piece is kind of about how you're going to move the putter, what muscles you're going to use. Adam grips it, so he's 6'2", he's got a 45-inch putter. His is a tiny bit flat, his is at 78 degrees. The vast majority of the broomstick world is at maximum upright, just under 80 degrees. And what Adam does is he likes to feel like his left arm, this putter's a little long for me to get into the full Adam Scott posture, but he likes to feel like his left arm is parallel to the ground. The elbow's going out at the target, gets pretty low down, kind of stretched out with the right arm, and then he's moving the putter with his back and his shoulders and his core. On the other side of the spectrum, you got Bernhard Langer, who's like absolutely one of the most effective putters on planet Earth, despite the fact that he still admittedly has the yips. So he grips it up tall. He's 5'8", he uses a 47-inch putter. He stands almost straight up, a little bit of flex in the knees for stability. Elbows pointing down this way, fairly close to his body, but not too close, because if you anchor below the forearm here, like if anything below your elbow is touching your ribs, it's technically anchoring. So it's got to be floating off your body just a little bit. And Bernhard's going to drive the putter entirely with his right arm. Now the shoulders are going to move, but they're not moving the putter. They're just coming along for the ride. So somewhere in between there is how you're going to putt. One end or the other. Experiment with all of it. Move it with your shoulders, move it with your right hand, move it with your right shoulder. It kind of doesn't matter. It's a whole new world, and that's the really fun thing that I want all of you to embrace, is that you get to start all over. And by the way, it's putting. It's not that hard. It's not like we're making a swing change here. We're not, you know, reinventing the wheel. We're just rolling a little ball on a green. There's a million ways to do it, and broomsticking is a really awesome way to do it. Next thing you're going to want to figure out, after you figure out kind of which motors you're going to use to drive the putter, is what you're going to do with the right hand. Or the trail hand. Some of you are lefties, I presume. Using Adam as the example on one side. So Adam's gripping it like this. The putter's sitting in between the thumb and the forefinger here. And he sort of gets these 2 fingers right on plane with the face, so that these 2 fingers here kind of match up with the face. That's how I grip it too. And this makes me feel like I can just kind of take my right hand and just sort of push the ball down the line. And I know that if I kind of keep this plane of my fingers square, the ball's going to be starting on line. By the way, that's what you're going to find more than anything with the broomstick. The ball starts on line so much easier if you're aimed properly. So there are no rules about how to do this with the right hand. So again, he's inside here, elbow sort of tucked in this way. One of the guys that works here at L.A.B, a guy named Ryan Dyro, awesome putter. He's the opposite. He's got the elbow kind of out away from his body. He's gripping it more like a saw. Then you got Lucas, who's like right in between. His hands kind of palms at about a 45-degree angle from the face. There's no right way to do it here, but the task is that you want the putter moving on plane. We're always talking about plane. Whatever you need to do with your right arm, shoulder, elbow, wrist, the way you're holding the putter to keep it on plane, that's the answer. And you can screw around until the end of time, until you find the right way for you. A couple other things to be aware of. When people pick up my broomstick when they want to give it a shot, the first thing that happens, because it feels so different and the head's so much heavier than a normal putting stroke, they get into a spot where they're trying to make it feel like a putting stroke. It's just not. It's a different thing. So let go of trying to to relate it to any familiar feeling. But because the head's so heavy, the first thing I see, people find some way to stand over it, they pull it back, and the putter goes like that because it's so heavy that once it's off the ground, it wants to fall. So at first, you really got to be conscious of sort of suspending the lie angle, maintaining the lie, holding the plane underneath it, supporting the shaft, supporting the lie. Most people at first need to feel like they're taking the putter outside and a little shut. That's just a feeling. Get a camera, get a buddy who can film it for a second so that you can prove to yourself that what you're feeling isn't necessarily what you're seeing. After that, we got to figure out speed. One of the really interesting things I find was that there's a bunch of stigma around broomsticks and a bunch of ideas that people have, and people will say, well, yeah, it's probably good for short putts, but for lag putting, you need, it hurts with touch. By far and away, the first thing I see improve with people who switch to a broom is their speed control. Their lag putting gets better. The reason for this, I believe, is that because of the weight of the head, you don't have the opportunity to under or over accelerate. You have to use gravity to control your speed on these things. Longer putt, longer stroke. You really get the thing swinging. Gravity is consistent. Your ability to accelerate properly is not consistent. So the more you use gravity, the more you get this thing just swinging, the better your speed's gonna be. I also see some people at times struggle from short range because you got this big tanky putter and it's difficult to make a tiny little stroke. The answer there generally lies in the pressure on your trail hand, on the hand that you're using to swing the putter. To make those tiny little strokes, I personally find I squeeze it just a little bit tighter so that the putter's kind of not so much on its own, that I have a little bit more control over the takeaway there. Mess around, figure out your own way of doing it. And some people even switch grips. You'll notice Bernhard switches grips. Sometimes he's like this, other times he's like that with the palm facing the target in between his fingers or in between these fingers. Bunch of different ways to do it, and it's okay. There's no reason that you have to use the exact same grip, exact same stance every time. Let it be creative, let it be fun, find your own way of doing it. The most important thing I want you guys to do for us is to tell us how it's going. There isn't any real curriculum around broomsticks. There isn't any instructors out there saying this is how you do it. So we're gonna figure all that out together. So we wanna hear from you guys on the Facebook threads, send us emails, do whatever you gotta do to get the word out and tell us about your experience with these new broomsticks. I hope you guys are enjoying them. Look forward to hearing about it. Go get it.